Got me a nice little project here that's going to have to go in front of the tractor because after all it's fall here in northeast Ohio. The neighbor brought his leaf blower over, said it won't start, and before that it was acting as though it was being starved for fuel or whatever. RPM was going up and down on it, it wouldn't run right. I'm suspecting a fuel issue of some kind. So I'm going to get started on this thing by taking the gas tank off and dumping it out and see if I can find out if the filter is plugged in the tank. Offhand, I'd say I'm not too far off on the fuel issue. Took the back cover off, which couldn't have been easier. And there's even grass and bugs that I found inside the crankcase. So we've definitely got an issue here where it's sucking things in where it's not supposed to. Well, so far in taking the air filter off of the carburetor, I see one thing I don't like, in that there's no gasket behind this thing, and you can see where it's been sucking things through behind, going right around the air filter. So we'll have to fix that when we put it back together. Got the tank dropped. I'm going to take the carburetor off and find how much crap is in the system. One of the things I've found in the fuel system, inside the fuel tank, there's a filter, and the filter's got some grungy stuff on it. This actually grows in gas anymore. So, but there's not enough there to stop the fuel from flowing, so we got problems elsewhere too. Well, pulled the carburetor off because I know I'm going to have to pull that apart and clean it. That same stuff you saw on the fuel filter is going to be present on the screens and stuff inside the carburetor. As you can see, the outside of it's a bit dirty. Not bad though for a weed eater that sits over there like that and does that dirty stuff all day. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the outside of the carburetor off and we'll start the disassembly. Okay, carburetor's cleaned off now. I won't be getting any external junk into it. One of the complaints from the customer was that when he pushed the primer bulb down, it was staying down. Well, when the primer bulb is mounted on top of the carburetor like this, its job is to pull fuel from the fuel tank into the carburetor. Okay, and he said that wasn't working, so that means it's not getting out to allow more fuel to come in. So let's just pop this little guy off of here. I'm going to have a little gas from inside, not a big deal. Okay, here we go. Just dumped a little bit of gas out. Okay, no big deal there. That's all nice and clean. And I don't see a whole lot of dirt in there either. Let's pop this little poppet valve off of there and see if there's something stuck in there. This is just a one-way valve so that when you press on it, it doesn't bleed pressure back where they don't want it to go. And I don't see a lot of dirt in there. I'm not going to go ahead and pop that off of there. It looks pretty well fixed. Integral assembly by the looks of it. We'll make sure that this is not plugged up. Now we'll go ahead and fish this diaphragm off of here because there's screens under it. And I know the screens do collect some junk every once in a while. Probably should get my less than that sharp as that thing out tool. Come on. underneath of this is also going to be the needle valve that goes into, that allows fuel to come into the carburetor. Well, I guess we need the sharp one again. Okay, well, doesn't seem to be a whole lot of dirt in there. The diaphragm goes up and down and pumps fuel into the carburetor, and there's the needle valve, and the diaphragm pushes on that. And I'm not, this is just a little bit different. The fuel filter's got to be on the other side of the screen. Okay, nice sealing. All the flapper valves are okay on this. Ah, looky there. I hope you can see that. The screen going into the carburetor from the fuel source is plugged completely solid. So we'll have to go out and give her a little bit more cleaning, and we'll be back in and put her back together. Okay, here is that little tiny screen. I took that out and got her all cleaned up, and I also cleaned passages in the carburetor out. The fuel comes in this pipe, comes out through that hole, gets drawn through the screen to the other side of the carburetor where everything is sitting. And the reason that button wasn't working is because it couldn't draw any fuel through to prime the carburetor. So we'll just go ahead and reassemble this thing and get her back on the leaf blower. One of the changes I'm going to make here is I'm not going to put this gravel strainer style filter back in there. I think a lot of this could have been prevented if this filter was in better shape. I just think it's seen better days. I'm going to go ahead and put a regular Walbro filter into it, and it draws everything through this block of felt, for lack of a better name, and it is also replaceable by undoing those clips, and you can swap that out on there. You don't have to replace the whole thing. Okay, got everything back together. Primer bulb works again. Put some fuel in it. Let's see if she'll start. A little cold-blooded. Just right offhand, I'd say it's going to live.